Welcome back to Libertas. This is Tonino Abana with my special guests Gato and Tanya, and we're discussing social media in the era of fake news. One of my social media has also been used to recruit terrorists. I mean, you have social media sites. You've heard of people being recruited and influenced by these sites. Is there a law against this?
I'm not aware that it is used to recruit terrorists.
Yeah, for ISIS, yeah.
There are
Not
sites.
in the Philippines. Yes, there are.
But yeah, you mentioned for ISIS. So young Muslims from Mindanao can access these sites from ISIS, and they get radicalized. Is there a law against this?
Against being a terrorist, there is. Against doing a
Post-
social
Recruiting people for
for terrorist.
terrorist activities.
Well, if it's a terrorist
true.
activity, then it's against the law. So it
Yeah,
doesn't
but
have to be specifically that it should be in social media that you can penalize and you know.
But shouldn't the government control these sites posting things that might lead to young Filipinos being driven to terrorism?
What do you mean? It's through social
I think
media?
they can because it's not protected speech if you're
Yes.
inviting people to commit crimes.
Okay.
If it's a terrorist act, then it's against the
What
law.
about terrorist organizations? Terrorist organizations on Facebook
There is
trying
law
to-
existing.
against terrorists. So there is a law against terrorist organizations recruiting. I mean,
It's a terrorism act, so it's against the law. It's not only within Philippines, but it's all over the world. So we have laws existing with regard fight against terrorism.
yeah.
So
The pr-
whether
the-
it be on social media, whether it be printed
Yeah,
through news.
the problem is most of these organizations outwardly, of course, you wouldn't know that they're promoting terrorism, but they're recruiting, and then they're trying to convert moderate Muslims into being radicalized. So it's like a thin line between legal and illegal.
So
If it's proven, then you can condemn these persons, but unless proven.
what you see on the site doesn't matter. It's what the persons who are running the site actually do. And if they're
Yes.
actually recruiting terrorists, then it's still a crime. They can still be
Okay.
taken down.
So
Actually, I
government can take down a Facebook page for that. Do they have the power to do that, or is it only Facebook?
they can actually. No?
Because that's it. So you prove that this terrorist organization is using Facebook to recruit terrorists.
Because that certain Facebook page
We have
is
no.
illegal.
The problem is social media has no nationality. Facebook is not under the jurisdiction of the Philippines. So how can we take down a terrorist site if our laws do not control Facebook? It's a question. It's
The jurisdiction will be based on where the crime is committed. So if
yeah, but the crime is in cybercrime. It's a cyber. Facebook resides in the internet,
Cybers.
which is all over the world. So there
Yes.
are no boundaries. It's not bounded by a country. So if there is a terrorist organization,
same goes with any terrorism crime,
hmm,
whether it be committed outside the Philippines, then may jurisdiction of Philippines.
wala.
Outside.
It might be
in
difficult.
the-
So
Yes.
There are
it's a
exceptions.
hypothetical question, but it's a question. It's no doubt something that has to be addressed.
What if the victims are Filipinos and kunyari ako yung na-recruit? Ako yung na-recruit and it's outside yung mga terrorists natin nasa labas ng Pilipinas, but it was committed here kasi dito na-recruit. So there's pa rin
Yeah, so-
jurisdiction ng Philippines.
Jurisdiction natin yun, but can we close down those sites? Can we shut down those sites? Do we have the capability? Do we have the laws to shut down those sites? Because those sites are recruiting young terrorists. Because yun nga the hypothetical question here is, there is no nationality that controls social media. It goes through boundaries of each country. Maybe we can read
Okay.
this question.
Good evening, Libertas. How can we control fake news if the leader or the higher position is the author of the fake news from Iligan City? Nasagot na natin yan kanina pa.
Sino ba yun? Refer niya.
Ha?
Sino yung nire-refer niya yung leader daw na?
I don't know.
Yeah, so let's go back to that. That's quite an interesting discussion on the social media not being controlled by any country. We have no control over Facebook. So any law that you pass that controls Facebook will be difficult to implement.
Dude, that's why we have the Cybercrime Prevention Act. So somehow Facebook is controlled by that act.
Yeah, but you
But
can't
how?
shut it down. You know, point. You cannot shut down something that you cannot control.
No, that's why we
Like
have the
shutting down the
law.
internet.
No, that's why we have the law. If it's committed within the Philippines, then you can shut it down.
Yeah.
No, the
But
Philippines
yun
has
nga,
jurisdiction over it.
It's like
Yeah,
let's-
if he's saying like if they recruit a terrorist here, he commits a crime somewhere else. That's all they did. They're just a site talking to people, sending them messages here. They go abroad, then they commit crimes there.
how
So-
do you prevent that? Kasi no crime was committed here, but they recruited, they used a site which is not controlled by any government to be able. That's the main issue right now with the sites from ISIS, right? Taliban the same, and all those even the U.S. can't shut them down.
No.
They're recruiting, they're influencing Americans to take a gun and start shooting in public. So they can't even control that. That's America.
Well, I think they can, but it's the enforcement that's also an issue, because Facebook's publicly listed there, so I'm sure they have jurisdiction over Facebook.
Yeah.
It's like piracy. It's committed within high seas. So everybody has jurisdiction over that crime. It's a paano masabi yun? Hindi ko sabihin grabeng
Crime
crime
against
eh.
humanity.
But it's crime against humanity.
Yeah.
Same with terrorism. So I guess there is a law existing on that.
Ang piracy
Yes,
naman
there's-
kasi, if there's a pirate ship that you can actually catch, pero yung internet,
If you can
it
identify,
doesn't reside anywhere. That's the problem. That's
no,
the issue
it's
with.
not where it is where it resides, but sino yung gumawa. So where
Yeah.
they
Abroad.
Oh,
Hindi nga nila ma-determine. That's the problem with the internet. You cannot determine where it's created.
IP
It can
address.
be in, it can be in North Korea. It moves. So it's
Why
something
did we
that
move
governments
on terrorism?
cannot control. Huh?
Change topic.
No, it's a reality. Actually, that's something
Yes.
that the U.S. is also and all countries are trying to solve, because this new technology in social media is something that the governments cannot really control. Actually, well, China has tried, right? Because they blocked some sites from
Yeah.
coming in. But that's another.
Maybe that's another strategy that the government should make in limiting and controlling.
Yeah. But then again, once the government starts to control, then they step on the boundaries of the freedom of expression.
No, it
and
doesn't.
freedom
If
of
it's a
speech.
terrorism act, then it's not.
Sorry.
No, it's
No,
not. It's not
it's not.
terrorism. I'm talking about the recruitment of people and radicalizing them. So who will be the judge? For them, it's okay. We recruit you, then you go bomb something in Iraq. But how do you control? It's impossible to control. Social media is so impossible to control. I think that's something that we have to realize right now. If you put regulations on social media, there's no way to really hold it, because it's all over. There are no boundaries. That's what social media is. The interesting thing is, and this has to do with, although the Philippines, Brazil, and Argentina have the highest average number of hours of people spent on social media, these countries also have the slowest internet. So
Probably because they're slow. That's why they have to spend so much time on the internet.
Is that the reason? I don't think so, because we have really slow connection here in the Philippines.
but that's the interesting point that this article that I read is pointing at.
That's
because
fake news.
it's real. I mean, we have slow internet, but at the same time, we spend the most number of hours.
Because it
on the
takes that long
internet.
to load whatever
Whereas
you're
in
trying to
Korea,
look
for instance, which has the fastest internet at 26 0.3 Mbps average, they spend 1 hour and 11 minutes. Whereas the Philippines, the average speed is like 4 Mbps. We spend 4 hours and 17 minutes. I guess, yeah, it's just an interesting point that I wanted to raise, because there must be some reason why the Philippines is number one in looking at social media. People are actually addicted to it. People have to look at it every day. People can't wake up.
When you're bored, you just
They look at it.
browse
Go
your
to sleep.
Facebook.
They look at it. For example, have you lost sleep because of the internet, because of looking at your Facebook? I mean,
No.
you don't spend too
When I
much time.
sleep, I sleep.
You don't spend too much time.
I turn off my mobile data when it's time to sleep.
Okay. So you're not bothered by that.
No.
I think it's about time that we post the how to contact Attorney Gato and Attorney Tanya. So they're from the Habana, Lingat, Ocampo and Associates Law Office, and the telephone numbers are posted on the screen. Maybe this is a good chance for you to mention something about your law firm and your closing statements, because we have 3 minutes to go.
Go first. Well, I can say is to all the viewers that you should be responsible for whatever you will post on social media, because you won't be aware, but you are already committing a crime such as libel and voyeurism and other cybercrime acts that can be punished by law. So one should, sabi nga ni Pia words back, think before you click. So whatever you post, and do remember the golden rule na what you don't want others to do unto you, please, basta yun. Nakalimutan ko tuloy. Yun.
Gato, your closing statements.
No, I think everything's pretty much been said. Like, that's
Yeah. And would you like to say something about your law firm?
Yes, should you have any questions with regard to our topic today, if you have a case that is related to our topic tonight pala, our contact numbers and our address and our firm name is reflected on your screens, so feel free to contact us.
Okay. I'd like to thank all the televiewers. I mean, this new phenomenon called social media, the internet, it's really taking us by storm. I mean, laws are not created. They haven't thought of enough laws to be able to control it, to understand it at this stage. It just happened, and the flow of information has been so fast because of the internet. It's amazing because it has given us a lot of positive things, but there are also some negative things that have to be controlled, like what Attorney Tanya said. You have to be more responsible. But on the bright side, it has made the world smaller because of communication. It has also given information to us at our fingertips. You can learn anything from the internet, absolutely anything. You want to play the guitar, you want to build a nuclear bomb, you want to learn about religion, you want to learn about anything, it's there on the internet. And as for social media, it's supposed to connect us together, but actually sometimes because of the availability of being connected, we are actually not really connecting. So thank you so much for listening and watching us. This is Tonino Habana. I'd like to say thank you again and good night to everyone who watched. Thank you to our guests. Thank you.